Bismillah, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Halo teman-teman, perkenalkan nama saya Hilda Amanah Rosyida dengan NIM 22. Di sini saya akan menceritakan tentang kisah dinasti Abbasiyah. Dinasti Abbasiyah ini sendiri berdiri pada tahun 750 Masehi. Dinasti ini didirikan oleh Abdullah bin As-Saffah. Abbas itu sendiri berasal dari kata Abbas bin Abdul Muthalib, paman Nabi Muhammad SAW. Di dinasti ini sendiri, yaitu dinasti yang sangat terkenal akan zaman keemasan Islam itu sendiri, di mana saat itu didirikan pertama kali di Kufah, kemudian dipindahkan ke Baghdad oleh Al-Mansur, ke Baghdad yang di tengah ini ya teman-teman, di mana semua ilmu pengetahuan berpusat kepada Islam. Islam menjadi pusatnya ilmu pengetahuan dunia, dan bahasa Arab itu adalah bahasa internasional. Kalau sekarang bahasa Inggris, ternyata dulu bahasa Arab adalah bahasa internasional, dan pusat ilmu pengetahuan berada di Islam itu sendiri. Tepatnya saat kekhalifahan Harun ar-Rasyid dan Al-Ma'mun pada tahun 783 sampai 833 Masehi, di mana di masa itu ilmuwan muslim mulai mengibarkan sayap-sayapnya menuju ke penjuru dunia, dan pendidikan Islam saat itu dikenal sangat luas. Bahkan ilmuwan-ilmuwan Eropa atau luar muslim, luar Arab itu pada belajar semuanya kepada ilmuwan muslim seperti Ibnu Firnas, Ibnu Sina, kemudian Al-Khwarizmi dan lain sebagainya. Di situ ada namanya Baitul Hikmah sebagai pusatnya ilmu pengetahuan tersebut. Saya cuplikan video-video tentang ilmuwan-ilmuwan tersebut. Selamat menyaksikan.
Yes. Now, take a look. If you dare. Welcome to the Dark Ages, or as it should be known, the Golden Ages.
Who are you?
I am Al-Jazari, engineer and ingenious inventor.
I thought you said this was the Dark Ages. It doesn't look very dark.
That's because it's all a matter of perspective, might soon to be illuminated, friend. Of course there are parts of the world that weren't dark at all, but in the civilization that stretched from Spain to China, the golden rays of discovery and invention shone over everything.
What civilization?
The Muslim civilization, my young friend. Through scholars and scientists of various faiths, some of the most important discoveries known to man were made at this time. Discoveries that drew on knowledge of the ancients that have more connections with your modern world than you could possibly ever imagine.
Like what?
Well, all sorts of things.
I've got to get a picture of this.
I knew it was a good idea.
Who are you?
Allow me to introduce Ibn al-Haytham, a great scientist whose ideas led to the invention of the camera.
You invented the camera.
I laid the foundations for modern cameras by explaining how our minds work. I found a way of projecting an image onto another surface through a small hole in a dark room, later called camera obscura. Think of all the things that evolved from this discovery. Cameras, cinema, all share the same principle. Cool. Look out below!
Who's that?
That's my good friend, Abbas ibn Farnas, who gazed up to the heavens, passionate in his belief that man could fly. Indeed, he dared to dream about flying 1,000 years before the Wright brothers. You know, you all take your jet-setting holidays for granted, so it only seems fair to remember Abbas ibn Farnas. Stand by. I'm ready for takeoff. You did forget one thing, though. The tail, useful for landing. I'm back. Is there a doctor in the house? Did someone call? My old friend, why don't you introduce yourself to my young guests? I am Abu Qasim al-Zahrawi. Many call me the father of surgery.
Did you actually do surgery back then?
Of course we did. In fact, many of the surgical tools that I invented are still used in your modern hospitals. Excuse me, the patient needs my attention. Scalpel?
I think I may need some stitches.
In that case, I'll use catgut
Catgut?
from the gut of animals. Perfect for stitching up internal wounds. The surgeons are still using it today. Sorry, mustache.
Who's she?
That's Maryam al-Astrolabi, one of the many brilliant women of her time. She made sophisticated astrolabes. Astrolabes. They show the sky and the stars on a small flat plate you can hold in your hand. Think of them as ancient calculating or timekeeping devices. Today you have your watch, your compass, satellite navigation, helping people and explorers travel the world. Science at its brilliant best.
And all these things were developed during the Golden Ages.
Well, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There were thousands of other inventions covering all areas of life, and in the years that followed, their influence spread across the whole of medieval Europe. So you see, it wasn't so dark after all.
What about you?
Me?
What did you invent?
Well, I don't want to be big-headed, but I made some groundbreaking advances in engineering. I suppose my most significant discovery converted rotary motion into linear motion using a crank and connecting rod. It's essentially pumps and engines. In fact, I have no idea how the Industrial Revolution could have happened hundreds of years later without such a device. But I never get the credit I deserve. But my crowning glory was my amazing time-telling machine. My legendary elephant clock. It's a clock, yes. Dozens of components collected from different cultures around the world. Indian, Greek, Arabian, Egyptian, Chinese.
A United Nations clock. That is pretty cool. Does it actually tell the time?
Well, yes, of course. If it wasn't for me, thousands of people would be late for everything. Speaking of time, we better get you back. And remember, spread the word. This is a golden age, and I've only shown you a tiny part of this wondrous time. There are countless other scientists and inventions directly connected to your modern world. You're just going to have to find out for yourselves.
All right.
Kita belajar bahwa dari ilmuwan-ilmuwan yang dimiliki oleh umat Islam tersebut, bahwa Islam berjaya pada masa itu bukan karena kekuasaan maupun karena harta, akan tetapi karena ilmu pengetahuan. Namun pada akhirnya orang-orang muslim terjangkiti penyakit hubud dunia, cinta kekuasaan yang mengakibatkan peradaban dicuri oleh bangsa asing. Berikut kami cuplikan runtuhnya dinasti Abbasiyah.
Pada tahun 1258 Masehi, pasukan Abbasiyah yang jumlahnya jauh lebih sedikit dengan gigih mempertahankan Baghdad selama berminggu-minggu melawan pasukan Batak yang menyerbu kota dengan senjata pengepung canggih. Upaya negosiasi dari para bangsawan kota berakhir dengan pembantaian. Setelah 16 hari pengepungan, pasukan Mongol akhirnya memasuki Baghdad. Khalifah Al-Musta'sim memimpin serangan terakhir melawan pasukan Mongol. Sang khalifah disergap saat melakukan serangan keluar dan akhirnya ditangkap oleh Hulagu. Perpustakaan besar Baghdad, Baitul Hikmah, dibakar oleh pasukan Mongol, menghancurkan banyak koleksi buku berharga yang telah dikumpulkan selama berabad-abad. Penduduk Baghdad yang terdiri dari Muslim, Yahudi, dan Kristen dibantai tanpa pandang bulu. Hanya penduduk sebagian yang dibiarkan hidup oleh Hulagu. Pada tahun 1258 Masehi,
Sejarah Abbasiyah mengajarkan kepada kita bahwa zaman keemasan peradaban Islam maju itu bukan hanya karena kekuatan, akan tetapi karena cinta ilmu pengetahuan. Demikian video yang kami sampaikan. Apabila ada kesalahan, kami memohon maaf yang sebesar-besarnya. Saya Hilda Amanah Roshidah mengucapkan wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.